G'day, I'm Greg Day, and this is an interview with Councillor Louise Crawford, the new Mayor of the City of Port Phillip. It's just a brief interview, 10 minutes. We look at the election results and some of the ideas and attitudes that Louise is going to bring as the Mayor of our fair city. So sit back and enjoy. Welcome, Louise, and congratulations on being elected back to Council and as Mayor.
Thank you very much, Greg. It's pretty exciting. My parents are proud of me, so it's win-win-win.
That's fantastic. That's an achievement, isn't it? Proud parents.
Yes. Doesn't matter how old you are, you still want your parents to be proud of you.
So obviously you've been a councillor for 4 years already, so that's terrific. But how would you kind of explain who you are to people who've just tuned into the story?
Oh, look, I'm an actor by trade, so I'm a bit of a creative soul. I tend to work more quietly and less flamboyantly than some of my colleagues, but I like to get things done. I'm also very practical, and I make stuff happen. I'd use the swear word, but my mum wouldn't like it. So I like to make stuff happen.
Okay, well that's the stuff that comes out of cows.
Yeah, exactly.
That
stuff.
And also, I guess your first tilted council had a strong environmental thread in it.
Yes, the reason I got involved in politics generally is because of climate change. So I trained with Al Gore back in 2014, and that was kind of the start of the journey for me, where I realised I wanted to step up, and I saw politics as being, on all levels, as being the most direct route to make change.
Seems like such a long time ago now, doesn't it?
Oh, I know.
Al
Gosh,
Gore
things move slowly.
And looking at hanging chads and stuff like that. But
yeah.
History repeats itself.
Yes, it does.
So, and we've obviously just had a council election, and you've been elected as mayor, and the deputy mayor is Marcus Pearl. So I guess this is indicative of the new council and how it's made up. So how would you describe the composition of the new council?
Look, I was wondering how I would describe it. I think it is perhaps there's a little bit more. I don't want to say diverse. Everyone used the word diverse. There's a wider range of views, I think, on quite a lot of issues, which is good as a good thing to have. And there's quite a few new sets of eyes, not coming from a particular set place. So there's the old ones, or the returning councillors, who I guess probably have a certain experience of each other with having certain views, and there's a whole new energy now of people who are not quite sure how they're going to come at issues. And I think that'll be a good thing.
Well, and how do you think it will be different to the last council?
Look, if you want to put it in more blunt terms, there's probably a slightly less clear progressive vote, and so I think there's more ambiguity around who might vote for what.
Well, one of the things before the council election statewide, there was a lot of concern that women would be underrepresented in municipal elections, and it's turned out not to be the case, that there's 47% of councillors now are female. But also in Port Phillip, we got outstanding female vote in each ward. So yourself,
and we have a majority of the councillor is a female now.
Yeah, but yourself in your ward, and Catherine Copsey in Lake, and Heather Consolo, they were outstanding votes in each ward.
It was the right election to be a woman. What was interesting, the female vote, when you look at the preference breakdown held, in some ways people voted for women, not ideologies or perspectives, because you would see the preferences. And I had people ringing me, asking me about the other women, because they wanted to vote for women. So it's really interesting. And we're one of 30% of the councils now have a majority of women, which is, so for whatever reasons, stars aligning, it was definitely a strong vote for women, which I love.
Yeah, and I guess in some ways too that local government is closer to the people than other forms of government and has got that chance to represent a greater variety. And here it's proved that to
Definitely.
be true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, in your acceptance speech on the night you were elected as mayor, you said you were really interested in being curious, respectful, and listening.
Mm.
And I of course I think that's terrific. But I got to thinking, well, what would be the tough question I could ask about that?
Yeah.
And I was thinking, well, what is it that you need to be curious about that you weren't already curious about? Like, how is it going to be different?
I'm by nature curious, but I'm also a human being. And I think we can easily have preconceived ideas about each other and where we come from and our perspectives. So we get locked into this really hard and fast. They're going to, they're like this and we're like that. And I actually don't want that to be the case. I think if you actually understand people a bit better, there's a lot more nuance in how we all operate in the world and vote. And so I think that's what I was alluding to for myself, but for others, I don't want us to get locked into sides or I think it's easy as humans to judge each other quickly rather than actually going, okay, let me understand that point of view, because often we answer the best solutions in the middle.
Well, and I guess too that leads on to the respect, doesn't it? That once you've been curious and you've found out why, how do you deal then with things that you don't agree with or ideas that you find abhorrent?
Yeah. With lots of diplomacy, perhaps. I think that's why I wanted to put that out there, that we actually have to find a way of having robust discussions, but still being respectful in how we communicate that. Because I think, I look around the world, there's so much divisiveness. And I think that we've actually all got more in common than we have that's different. And I think it starts coming by respecting each other, because if you don't do that, at least you don't have to like anyone. You could just have to respect that they have a valid point of view or something to contribute to the conversation. And I know it sounds a bit Pollyanna, but you know what? You got to try. I don't think that just saying, oh, we can never find that common ground, or it's just the way it is it's not good enough. And I don't think people want that.
Yes, which leads you to your listening, your third point, too, is that it's not my father, but someone of his ilk used to tell me, Greg, you've got two ears and one mouth, so you need to do twice as much listening and less talking. So I guess this is the challenge of leadership, isn't it? Because in some ways people want you to have the answers, but on the other hand, they want you to listen as well. So how do you kind of get that balance?
One step at a time. uh, one of the things that I've noticed in all campaigns is that people actually want to be heard. That's the thing. So they may not agree with the decision you make, but if they genuinely feel like they've been heard, I think they're more able to accept or come to an agreement or whatever. And I know it sounds so simple, but I know when I'm telling someone something, or I'm trying to express something, I want them to actually hear me. Like if they're like on their phone, or that doesn't sit well with you. Just want human beings 101 and how we react. So I think if we can actually genuinely try to listen with, again, that not always shutting down, going, I don't like their ideas, but actually going, oh, okay, I'd never thought of it like that. And that goes for community, for stakeholders, for each other, for officers, and sometimes listening to the stuff you don't want to hear, the constructive stuff where you go, okay, we didn't get that right. As a council group, we didn't get that right. We need to do better.
Okay, well, that's good. And to keep it short.
No, that's right. We can go for a few minutes. I just don't know how many people would want to watch too many minutes of me.
No. I think it's good. Because I think the thing is, I would prefer to do multiple short interviews and then get on to topics as they come up in the year.
Totally.
So people are going to be looking at this at the beginning of December. So it's appropriate to give them an end of year message. So it's been a tough year with the...
Yeah, you know what I would say to people? I really hope you get a chance to see your loved ones and hug them, and spend some time with them, and hopefully we stay safe and we stay opened up to this, this new normal, COVID normal, and that in the new year things shift, that we find that pandemic. But so my thing is, Greg, my family's all in Queensland and I haven't seen them for basically a year, and my aunt died a few weeks ago, and it hits home. It hits home that I actually can't just get on a plane and go and see them. So I wish for everyone to hug your loved ones. Actually, that's the most important thing. And if you're in the city of Port Phillip, stay safe is really the other one. There's my real counsellor hat on. Please abide the rules and look and do the right thing while you're at our beaches and the like.
Okay, Louise. Well, look, thanks so much for your time. And you stay safe too.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. I really appreciate it.
Season.
Yes. Hopefully see my family.
Okay, well, I'm going to end... Well, that's where it ends now, but